domestic occasions, but even more so in Europe. As a footballing man, do you think this could have an impact? The fiery support that we'll get tomorrow night. Yes, I believe so. Our fans' support is always very important, just as it has been when we came to the stadium ahead of the Venezia game, during the match and after the game as well. It's crucial for us to have our fans' support. I think the same goes for tomorrow, and I think it will be the same tomorrow. We need to feel the love of our fans. Mediaset. I've also got a question for the gaffer, one for Alvaro. The first is, I'd like to ask you whether the win over Venezia has given you a boost in confidence, and could this be the start of something big for Milan? It's not only the feel-good factor, but could it be a turning point for you, that result? And Alvaro, what's the difference? You've scored 28 goals in the Champions League. You know the tournament very well. What's the main difference that you need in Champions League matches such as these in order to win them? I think victories always breed confidence to the players, the team and the fan base. But I think it will be a different match. What matters is that we beat Venezia. I think we saw some positive signs before the Venezia game that the team is improving and learning new things, but of course victories do bring confidence mainly to the players themselves. Gazzetta dello Sport. A question for both. To the gaffer, I wanted to ask, of course you will have studied Liverpool. What are the strengths of this side? And above all, what are the mistakes that you've made at the start of this season that you need to really avoid repeating against the Reds? Alvaro, you've got a positive record on a personal level against Liverpool. I saw that you also scored quite a significant goal against Liverpool. Could you talk us through that particular match, your memories of that and your experience against the Reds in general? Liverpool are a top-class side, and in my opinion, they're one of the best teams in Europe at this moment in time. They've got a very good positional game, and they've got a lot of quality that we're all very familiar with. I think we need to be perfect defensively as a team in order to win this match. In the Champions League, when you're up against opposition of this ilk, we know that we can't afford to make any mistakes. If we do make an error, then they'll score. That's why I think we need to be a complete team defensively in order to have the opportunity to then attack with stability and balance. But if I'm quite honest, they're one of the best teams in Europe at this moment in time. Hi, Paolo. I wanted to ask you whether you agree that tomorrow night's game will be able to tell us just what a good side your Milan team are or not. I see tomorrow's match as an opportunity for us. A chance for the team to show that we're learning, that we're improving. It's a big opportunity, if you ask me, to play against a top team like Liverpool. It will offer new challenges compared with what we face in Serie A, but it also gives us the opportunity to show our worth, to show the players' worth, and to demonstrate how the team are getting better day in, day out. For Alvaro, hi. I wanted to ask you, question for the gaffer. I wanted to ask you whether in recent days after the Venezia game in specific, whether you've been able to speak to Jerry Cardinali, and if so, what you said to one another. I speak to Jerry all the time. After matches, before games, we're constantly in contact. That's only natural. As for what we said to one another, that remains between us. Ordine. Good afternoon, Gaffer. I wanted to ask you, I have seen that Ibrahimovic is back, and he also watched the training session today. Has he said anything in particular to you about the Venezia game? What he liked, what in his opinion you can improve upon at the start of this league season? And I also wanted to ask Alvaro Morata what he believes the difference is at this moment in time between Italian football and English football. In terms of what I said to Zlatan, it's what we typically talk about, the matches, the atmosphere, the players. I don't think there's anything new to say. These are normal conversations about the team, about the...
Siamo giocatori di prim'ordine.
Hi, Gaffer. Can you pick the same side against Liverpool and Inter, or in your mind, do you have an idea of rotating a bit because it's the start of the season, they've come back from the international break, and then maybe some players can only play one of the two games? No, the same players can play in both matches, but I might also decide to tweak things. What I mean by that is we have 3 games in the space of a week, and I need to think about all 3 matches. I don't want to say any more than that, but I also need to consider the fact that tomorrow night's game is the most important one because it's our next match, but I can't lose sight of the fact that we have the derby on the horizon, and that's our next Serie A match. Hi, a question time or whatever. Good evening, Alvaro. Good evening to the Gaffer. Question for Paulo Fonseca. There's a word that often came up in your press conferences in the past, which is dominating proceedings. But I heard your answer earlier on. You said we need to actually think about defending before then attacking well. Are you changing? Rather than dominating, are you looking for more balance, or is it simply a case of the importance of the match and the opposition? They know that the first thing that I say to my players is the best way to defend is to not lose possession. And in my mind, I really believe that this team in the future can be a real dominant force. We're doing more, but I want to be even more domineering than we have been thus far. But for me, defending well means first and foremost not losing possession. Now, when we're out of possession, I think this is a big challenge as well. We need to build a team that defends well as a unit. That's important, especially in matches such as these. Hi, Gaffer. A question for you and a question for Alvaro. To the Gaffer, do you agree that Liverpool are favourites for tomorrow night's match? Alvaro, what do you make of the new Champions League format? Is it more exciting? What do you think? This is always a rather unusual question. What does it mean, whether you're favourites or not? You can say whatever you like here, talk is cheap, but ultimately what matters is what we do out there on the pitch. Yes, what we feel at this moment in time is the most important, not whether we're underdogs or favourites, but what we feel at this moment in time is that we feel we can beat Liverpool, we want to beat Liverpool.